where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today.
Over from where we're living. Rachel Allison is on the way in. She is from staypositive.news, and it's just a fun way to, get some news without, seeing all the drama and all the growling and all that. I'm checking out. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to kind of tiptoe back into the news a little bit to where I'm kind of looking at some stuff, but I spend so much time just studying stuff. Everybody, if any of you know me, I'm just a podcast nut, and I love listening to things on like Audible and those kinds of things, just because I'm trying to learn stuff about Bible studies, and those are the things that I love. But if I want to get some news, I want to make sure it's not going to be something that's going to depress me. And so I could go to staypositive.news and, find out some cool stories about things going on in the area that I live in, and just be blessed. So they're going to come in and talk about that. But I've got to, yesterday I had a little bit of time to just kind of talk about things, and I forgot, I didn't talk about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. And I just want to spend a minute reminding you guys that that's coming up. You need to save the date. May 16th through the 17th. That'll be a Friday and a Saturday. We will have the fiddle competition that'll happen that evening. And then we'll have a barn dance that night. It is just the best time. If you've never been to this event, you need to go. The Ridgetop Ramblers that sing us in with our theme song, they will be there. They're always there. And just a great lineup. I've been sharing a lot of the posts that they've been putting up about the festival. So put it on your calendar now. It is just an absolutely beautiful park, the Kilgore Park up in Cross Plains. It's just, you go into this little valley, and then there's the old tobacco barn that they've renovated for the stage, and the back where we have the dance. It is just the coolest thing. It's a great experience. You'll love it. Trust me. Come on and join us for that. And Rachel's coming on in. I'll let her get seated. And also, while she's getting comfortable, I'll kind of address, we missed out on Dr. Weeks yesterday. And, he's one of those reoccurring guests. And so I try to always touch base with my reoccurring guests and make sure it's okay. And, well, if I had reached out to him and said, hey, we still good for tomorrow, he would have said, oh, I've got a meeting like in Franklin or something, and so I can't be there. And that's what ended up happening with our director of schools. He was unable to be here yesterday because of a meeting that he had on his calendar. And so we're, talking to him about trying to get him rescheduled. I will not be here tomorrow and Friday. Lee Marie will be in for me. I'm planning on being back on Monday, but I'm sure Lee Marie will have some wonderful stuff for you. And we may try to get Dr. Weeks in one day next week. Again, I'll just have to look at the calendar and see what's open. But that's what happened to him. It was nobody's fault. It was just a miscommunication and all that. And he had that meeting. So there you go. Miss Rachel Allison, though, she reached out to me and said, hey, are we good for tomorrow? Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so proactive. And, it's been a minute since I've seen you.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
I think December.
Okay.
And last Sarah was with me.
Okay, that's right. I guess so. I tell you, it's just been, the last couple of months have seemed like a year to me.
I agree.
I'm telling you, you've moved.
I did,
So,
and that's why I had to miss last month.
That's why you missed January.
It's been chaotic.
Yeah, we messaged each other, and what ended up happening, it really worked out great because, of course, the first Wednesday was New Year's Day, and I never work New Year's Day, and we just let the programming play, and we take the day off. Well, I had neglected to really talk to Sean Elmore because she typically comes in on the first Wednesday, which is Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center. Mm-hmm. Well, right now is a real critical time for us to be talking to her because of their big dinner that's coming up. That is the Legacy of Hope annual banquet. And so we didn't want to miss that time. So because you were moving, I called and I was like, hey, are you coming in? And you're like, I just moved like Sunday. You'd moved 2 days earlier.
Yeah.
And so we were able, and I appreciate, letting us bring Sean in. So she was able to come in a week later to where we could talk about the dinner and all the things coming up with the center and just all the cool stuff there. So it worked out.
That's awesome.
So
glad.
how's the new house?
It's a mess. We're renovating the whole thing.
Oh, bless.
So we moved in and started ripping down walls, and
Yeah.
it's been wild. But I think we're about halfway through renovations. It's
Okay.
been 6 weeks.
Okay.
We don't have a master bathroom right now.
So you're just kind of
Yeah.
redoing it all.
Yeah.
Well, see, we're getting ready to do, wouldn't call ours a renovation, just kind of almost a redecorate, kind of revisioning how we were going to
Fun.
do some stuff,
Yeah.
And we're going to take a full bath down to a half bath. So we're going to redo some plumbing and stuff, but nothing really, massive. But we're about to undertake that as well. So
It is not fun.
well, you got 2 little boys.
And they have been incredibly resilient through the
Okay.
whole process.
They're like, let me help.
Yeah, they love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's just me. It's hard to come
Yeah.
home and your house is a actual construction zone every day.
Yeah.
But I just got to stay positive, right?
Stay positive. There you go. Let's just go right into that staypositive.news. I love it. How are things going with staypositive.news?
Going awesome.
Yeah.
We are just about to do a fun photo shoot on Friday all around town.
Okay.
Kind of showcasing some of our partners, and then we're about to do a little refresh to our social media and our website. We've been around for almost 2 years now. So
Really?
yeah.
Time flies,
It
man.
does.
Oh my gosh,
It
that's crazy.
does.
Oh goodness.
So I'm super excited. Sarah, who is our creative director,
Mhm.
is actually buying in and is going to be a partner in Stay
Ah.
Positive News as well. So we're
That's
just super
cool.
excited to have her on that partnership level with us.
Awesome. There's 4 of you then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's going to be, so that's really cool. And I mean, it's such a great concept, and just featuring, the good stuff around town, and pretty much Robertson and Sumner County
Yes,
is the focus.
That's our main focus.
Right.
I was scrolling through like, okay, which articles am I going to talk about today?
Mm-hmm.
And just it struck me again, and if I sound like a broken record, I'm sorry, but there's not one negative headline on our website.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There's not one. You have positive, uplifting stories. You have kind of what's going on in Robertson County and Sumner County. So there's that aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a section called Written by Our Readers, and we just got some new submissions.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And they're really good, y'all. We're getting stuff from juniors and seniors in high school, and I'm like, wow,
Okay.
they've got a future. And it's so nice to not, have to worry about seeing anything negative while I'm on there.
I love it. See, now I've been saying that I'm going to send you some stuff written by our readers, because I've got a lot of stuff that I'd love to submit, and I just haven't got it done. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I will get you some stuff. I'm like I said, I'm coming into a season of my life. I'm hoping that's not going to be quite so, because it has been just that. This past year, these past 12 months have been something else. So I'm really anticipating having a spring break where I'm not doing anything real other than I've got some family members that are going to come in, so you know what I
fun.
mean? Just kind of that, and having the summer to just, kind of redo my house and, to get some things done, get some personal stuff done. So, because my husband and I both were finishing our education stuff last year,
Right.
and plus dealing with all the stuff, helping my brother and his bride deal with, my mom passing and
Right.
house stuff and all that. So, cleaning out that house. And so it's just been a lot.
It doesn't
So,
slow down.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will for you.
I'm hoping, well, at least where I can, don't you have just so many things you're like, I really want to do that.
Yep.
And just trying to find enough hours in the day to do it,
Yep.
So I'm working on it. I tell my kids all the time at school, y'all have no idea how many hours I work, because they're like, oh, I'm so tired, Miss Vivio. And I'm like, no, don't even talk to me. Sit down.
Yeah, you are
Okay.
up here,
Yeah.
early,
Yeah.
and
So,
feel the same way.
but I'm like, you're too young to be so tired. But anyway,
right.
get off the games at night. That's the thing.
Yeah, they probably stay up way too late.
A lot of them do when you start talking to them. It's like, why can you not keep your head up and pay attention in class? I was up until 2 a.m. I'm like, well, what were you doing? I was playing my game. If you ask them, they'll be honest with you. And then you'd be
Yeah.
surprised how often I hear that. So take the games away from your kids. Just telling you,
Yes.
parents.
Maturity is knowing when to put yourself to bed.
That's right.
Even if you don't want to or you're not tired.
Yeah.
I have to put myself to bed sometimes.
Oh, I still struggle with that. We're talking with Rachel Allison, StayPositive.news, a wonderful place to go and just get uplifting stories, local stories, and of course, one of my favorites, Miss Mabel. Truth be told, she has a submission. Let's see, her latest submission is on the 10th. That came in, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. What was she into this month? Did she?
She gave some great advice per usual.
Okay.
So Miss Mabel is our version of Dear Abby. If you remember back with, you got the paper newspapers and people would write in and get advice and write Dear Abby. Well, we have our Mabel version. She's better, I think. She's from around here. She's an old lady. She's going to laugh when she hears that. But she's a sweet Southern lady, and she's had so many life experiences, and she loves to write, and she loves to give advice, and she'll just tell it to you straight. And that's the best part.
Well, it's so funny because what we were talking about as we just started, here was the question. How do people stay on top of everything every day?
Yes.
Between my job, my home, my kids, I feel like I'm always dropping the ball or neglecting someone. I try to take care of myself by eating healthy and exercising. I just feel like it never ends. There's always something. And packed program, Portland. And so she goes on to give a wonderful answer. I was kind of scanning it, and she also kind of talked a little bit about random act of kindness down in here. So she basically, gave some advice and say, here's some things you can do that will kind of recenter you, maybe? Is that what the message of it?
Her main message was put your phone down.
Yes.
She said, I think I'm supposed to tell you, hey,
It's
you
those
can't
darn phones.
you can't do it all, but do you know how much time you're wasting on your phone? And honestly, have you looked at your screen time? Because mine's 4 to 6 hours a day.
I haven't really. I don't spend a ton. I don't. I mean, I have podcasts on. I have things in my ear a lot.
Yeah. I think,
And so I'm not one that gets on, social media and stuff. And I mean, I'm kind of, what bothers me about the whole social media aspect, I can go on looking for something when we do the news 3 days a week at the school. And so we're always looking for pictures to support the stories. And so I'll inevitably pull out my phone. That's one of the easiest way for me to grab pics and stuff and go see what on the school page that Miss Samantha Grimes, you're awesome, has put up. And I can go grab a pic from her, but I'll go to open my phone and get drugged down a rabbit hole. I'll be like, oh, it distracts you. And it just drives me out of my mind. I think I opened my phone to go get a picture of the cheer team. And here I am wherever. And I'm thinking, well, how in the world? And it's that algorithm. They know what catches your eye.
yeah.
All you got to do is put up something about Bible archaeology, and I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. What did they dig up this year? I mean, because I'm just get sucked into that stuff.
Yes.
And
I do the same thing. I'll go to check an email, and then all of a sudden I'm on Instagram scrolling.
yes. And
It's terrible.
so she's got a very good point. It's those phones.
She does. And I mean, she doesn't tell you like, hey, don't use your phone, because obviously there's a time, there's a place, there's a reason.
Yeah.
She's like, just be more conscious of it, because all right, if you know you're going to pick up your phone because you have to make a phone call, make the phone call, set it down, get back to what you're doing. You're going to save some time in your day and have some more time for all the other stuff you're trying to cram
Stuff
in
that
there.
really matters.
Yeah.
And I've not seen anyone who has taken a challenge to put their phone down that's been like, oh, that was awful.
Right.
They always go, I can't believe.
Yeah, that
how
was so
much-
refreshing.
Yeah, and I really now, I'm sure there's somebody out there's like, I put it down and it drove me crazy. Well, you probably didn't step away from it long enough to really kind of,
Yeah.
you're
addicted.
revive. And I talk to my students about that all the time because of
We
the
are
work we
addicted.
do with Celebrate Recovery, with Recovery Court, and all of those things. I said, I talk to a lot of people who are addicted for a lot of things. And yes, there is a lot of alcohol and chemical abuse and addiction out there, pure addiction. But oh my goodness, the people who are addicted to gaming, to Netflix, to unfortunately the P word, porn, and it's breathtaking. And that's, I talk to my kids. I call it the P word, because they talk to me about, their phones and stuff like that. And I know what they're doing, and it's like you got to put those things down. I said you're really poisoning. You're poisoning your future. And but I've had kids come up and tell me I'm addicted to gaming.
Yeah.
I am totally addicted to gaming. I've got one right now struggling with gambling.
Wow.
They're a senior.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and
Bless
and
them.
I've had two that talked to me very candidly about their gambling. And they're both seniors, and they're both, old enough to be because they're 18
Right.
now. And one of them realized he had a problem and has quit.
That's awesome.
He's done great. And the other one just won't admit that it's a problem.
Yeah. You're in that
And
denial stage.
yeah, exactly. And I just try to talk to them. You just don't
Are
know.
they doing it on their phones?
Yes.
Yeah. See, they make it so easy.
These
to
gaming
gamble
sites
now.
are so. I just want to cringe when everybody's like, you can't win if you don't play. Well, you also can't waste money if you don't play.
Yeah.
And I just I don't touch any of it. And I did. I mean, when the lottery first came on, I did, but I thought this is not good. This is not healthy. I'm thinking about this too. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy a lottery ticket. It's $1 billion. I'm gonna go buy a lottery. And I was like,
Yeah.
nope, I gotta stop. And I just stopped. And nonetheless, that's what Miss Mabel. Here we go down a rabbit hole. Miss Mabel saying, you want to have more time? Put your phone down.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
so, but I
I
love
know.
Miss Mabel though.
I do too. And she has started something fun this year. She's giving challenges now.
Yes, yes.
So in
Uh-huh.
January, her 2 challenges were do 4 random acts of kindness. I guess that was throughout the month. It can be big or small. Just go out of your way to make someone's day. And 2, smile at yourself in the mirror at least once a day. You'll look like a weirdo, but trust old Mabel. I've been doing this longer than you.
That's great.
I like that. And then this month, the first challenge is be intentional about picking up your phone. Set aside a time to respond to non-emergency messages and come up with a time limit for social media scrolling. And number 2, mail a card, yes, snail mail, to someone who could use a little encouragement or love.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about halfway through the month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We can try to do those February challenges.
Well, and Valentine's would be a wonderful time, to
Yes.
drop a note to somebody that maybe hasn't gotten a Valentine in a long time,
Oh, I love that. I'm going
Yeah.
to think of,
Yeah.
Some
Think about
people-
people who you think, I bet they haven't had a Valentine in a long time,
Yes.
and maybe they're, lost their spouse, or maybe it's just I see a lot of kids who just don't seem like they just really connect. I
Yeah.
don't know if they'd appreciate a Valentine from their teacher, but I just
Maybe.
you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But I've never been. Are you into Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I've never have been. I just and there's a lot of reasons why, but now we just I don't know. Especially as you get older, you'll probably go, whatever. But and then maybe it'll revive. My parents kind of they weren't, and then right at the end of my dad's life, they started paying more attention to it. And it was some of my mother's sweetest memories of dad.
Aw.
So I think that's so I think there's something to it. And speaking of, you can go to a crazy little thing called Love up at the venue at Fidelity Farms. They have a special show that they're doing. Have you ever been to Fidelity Farms
I
in
have,
those shows?
Yeah. Not a show, but I've been there.
They do the
Beautiful.
shows. Did you know they did these shows?
No. Is it on Friday
Oh,
night?
They have shows. Well, it's I'll have to look it up here. Craig will get me. He's like, I thought you loved us, LaVern.
you're
And
dropping
they
it.
do the let me see, Fidelity Farms. Hang on, it's the venue at Fidelity Farms now. But hang on a second, let me get it up here.
That is a beautiful spot.
It is
Like,
spectacular.
we are blessed to have that
Yeah.
here.
And let's see, they're calling it the venue at Fidelity Farms. They've changed the naming just a little bit, just so people understand that it's not just a barn.
Right.
But they do these in the off season because this is not really big wedding time.
Right.
They did a big Christmas show. It's called A Lot of Christmas. It's kind of like a Branson type show.
Okay.
I mean, huge, well done. I mean, just incredible. actors and music and just amazing stuff. The things that I have seen from there, I haven't been in person, but I've seen some little excerpt kind of things, and it just incredible talent. They're doing one right now called Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and it's a dinner show. And you go and you have dinner, and then you get the show, and it is going through March 1st. So I don't, they might have tickets this weekend. I'm going to be really surprised if they still have Valentine tickets.
Right.
I'd be surprised. They might, but you can go through March 1st. You will have a blast, guys. I have just talked to people who've gone, and it just sounds like a wonderful, wonderful evening. But dinner and a show,
Yeah,
that's just
that's a good date night.
You better believe it. You need to talk to your husband. You're like,
You need to talk to your husband.
yes, I know. Absolutely. We all need to go. But that's one thing that's going on. We're talking about Valentine's Day. If you want to do something special, send a card maybe to somebody who hasn't gotten one in a while, or maybe take them out to a crazy little thing called love.
Flowers.
Flowers, yeah. All those
Last
things.
year we did a story. I don't know if it's still going on this year. I assume it is, but last year there was a organization who brings flowers to widows on Valentine's Day. So I'm gonna.
I
look
remember
up to
that. I
see
remember
if
you talking about
they're
that.
doing that. But yeah, they have a ton of volunteers, and it's such a sweet thing.
Oh, it
Such a sweet
is.
thing.
And you have been doing, y'all have done a lot with the local schools. We see all kinds of, like you said, there's some student written stories written by the
can I
readers.
read one?
Yes,
Oh my
absolutely.
goodness, this one was so good. It was written by her name. It's called Flowers.
I was just wondering, are we going to stay with the flower theme? I'm looking at that
Yes,
flowers right now. I'm
yes.
seeing the street lamp and I too. That's intriguing.
So, author's note, my name is AJ Rodriguez. I attend White House High School, and my favorite subject is English. That was my favorite subject,
Oh.
too. After high school, I'd love to attend NYU or Swarthmore. Sorry if I said that wrong. In the future, joining creative writing program and eventually becoming an author. I hope you enjoy this poetic piece. Well, I am honored to have her first published work on our website.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
And so here it begins. Everyone has had a rough day, a bad day at school. Your shoe got a scuff on it. Your boss denied your PTO. You had a fight with your friend. Your pet just died. I was drowning in depression. Some even have a rough life. Drug addiction, abusive parents, homelessness, isolation, mental illness. I had relationship toxicity. But still, people try to make this life as beautiful as they can with what time they have. They wake up and choose to be happy. They choose to smell the flowers. They choose to give those flowers to people who may need them. They lay the flowers at the graves of those laid to rest, whispering small, I remember yous to the seemingly forgotten. They go back at the end of their long, grueling day and water the bulbs of flowers they picked before. They go to bed and hope they wake up again to smell those flowers and to help others smell them. My mom picked those flowers for me. My dad did too. Their fragrance came in strong whiffs I did not want to smell. I hope one day I can help others smell those flowers because at one point I needed someone to help me too.
That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm some of the things that was oh man.
Yeah.
Whispering
Lots of lessons.
this line right here, whispering small, I remember you to the seemingly forgotten. That just
I
that's
know.
beautifully written. I just, because I write, and when somebody puts words together so artistically, you're just like, ooh, I wish I'd written that line.
Yes.
It just flows. And, sometimes you, as a writer, I'll write something, I'm like, ooh, I wrote that. But it's like for a student, I mean, that's poetic and beautiful and just, I don't know.
Love it.
Yeah, and we just put, graves on my parents' gravesite just last Sunday. So so that's still fresh on my heart. My
Yeah.
sweet sister-in-law had fixed up a new thing for them as we, start heading into spring and all that. So my mother would love that. But that's just a beautiful way to express that. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really
And
cool.
thank you to
That's
Miss
cool. Very
Hilliard.
nice job, young lady.
Thank you to
Very
Miss
nice.
Hilliard at White House High School for encouraging her students to submit entries. We've gotten quite a few from them.
That is really
And
cool.
we accept entries from anyone. It doesn't even have to be a student, like we talked about. You could be a teacher.
yeah.
You could just be anybody.
I'm gonna send some stuff in
As long as
just
it's
haven't done it.
positive.
Yes, it's got to be a positive story, and something that's uplifting and powerful, and I just love that.
Yeah.
But so what else have we got going? We're talking with Rachel Allison. She's with StayPositive.news. If you want to just bring that positive information into your life, this is they started this a couple of years ago, and I remember Jamie telling me about it and what they were doing, and I just thought, well, that's a great idea, and it's just booming. And you've got some local sports stuff in here, just a lot of this stuff too. You need to let them know what's going on. It's kind of like the same thing we do with radio. We love featuring all these wonderful, positive stories. If you hear something, reach out to them, let them know.
Yes,
And
please.
that's why I tell everybody here, too. It's like if you see something that we need to have on the show, One Street Over is about our community and what's going on, one street over from where we're living. That's why we call it what we do. But we need to hear from y'all because things happen all the time. And I'll after the fact, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. I wish I'd known we'd had them on the radio. So, but the same thing goes for the website, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You guys can reach out to us through our website, which is staypositive.news. There's a contact form on there to submit a story, or if you want more information about being a partner or anything like that. You also can reach out to us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And you can always email me or Sarah. My email's Rachel at Stay Positive News. Sarah's is Sarah at Stay Positive News.
Super easy.
Super easy. But yes, please, if there's something good going on, we want to cover it. It honestly makes me kind of mad when the local news gets stories that we don't, that are positive. I'm like, oh, those are our stories. I would have loved to cover that. So
yeah, I love it.
Please give them to us.
I love it. But I mean, there's just all kinds of fun stuff on here. I'm just kind of perusing the stories. I love the sports stories. I love telling the story of people who are true heroes that you just don't know their stories unless you go, unless somebody takes and says, oh, do you know what this person's done? And, and that's one of the coolest things too. I just love that. I love that.
We're called Stay Positive News, but it's more storytelling.
Yeah.
More kind of editorial pieces. I have one I want to share.
Okay.
This is about River, the inspiring eyeless dog.
Oh.
So River is a pit bull, and he doesn't have any eyeballs. They had to get taken out. He was a homeless dog, and he was found roaming the streets in Dallas, Texas. And a local animal shelter there found him, picked him up, and just posted his picture on social media. And fast forward, he's now in Tennessee. He belongs to the Van Meter family here, and the Van Meters have adopted dogs and pets.
You mean locally?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're like really? Well, when you started, I was like, well, yeah, we do cover things, sometimes they happen in other parts of the world, but.
No, they live he's in Gallatin.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. Okay.
So the Van Meters, they've been taking pets in for 20 years, and they saw a picture of River online, and they're like, we have to get him. So they brought him here from Texas. His eyes were so badly infected from his time in Texas that they had to bring him to the vet. They had to remove him. So that's not the end of River's story that he found a happy home. His story continues because now he is visiting schools and places, and they're doing dog therapy because he connects really well with kids who might have disabilities or don't fit in all the way, and he's basically a ministry tool. So Bethany, the mom, and River will go and do all these events together. So she's also written several children's books called I See With My Heart, I Got a Cat for Christmas, and River Has a Purpose, and So Do You. And she uses these books at schools, churches, assisted living facilities, and other organizations to read to them. And then they kind of interact with River, too. It's really, really sweet.
I love this. Oh, my gosh. How can we get her to come to Greenbrier? Because, we have just a wonderful special needs teacher. I love my friend Lauren Gray. and she just does a great job. But I think her kids would love this.
Yeah,
You
they
know.
will totally come.
Yeah.
You can go to rivervanmeter.com.
Okay.
You also can follow the River Van Meter Facebook page or River Van Meter on Instagram. She says, I think every school in the country should have some type of therapy dog. We've been to schools where they have therapy or facility dogs, and the environment at those schools is so different. There's a kind of gentleness and love that these dogs can provide to humans.
That is so cool. I love this. I'm looking at the story now. What a cutie pie too.
He is so cute. Do you see this
Yes.
picture? I mean,
Yes, adorable,
wow.
adorable, and that's just amazing. That is so cool, man. That is cool. That I love the way she is tying that into a special story and in the books and those kinds of things because who would have thought most people would put that dog down,
Right.
and I'm a farm girl. I know how things work,
Yeah.
and I know what we do, and nobody be like, let's just put him out of his misery. But look at what they did, and they found this special purpose and special message to bring from that. That's beautiful. That is really cool. The Alice dog. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. I love that one. That is really good. See, now I was the one that jumped out to me was like, oh, there's one about financing here at the beginning of the year, and so I was starting to look at that one, because I mean that's where my head goes at the first of the year, but.
Yeah.
I think that's, just you cover the entire gambit on here. I mean, you've got the first baby born at TriStar, Hendersonville. That's a sweet story. And just all kinds of fun stuff on here. But got this martial arts kid on here and just all kinds of fun stories for you to check out and read and just kind of if you want to spend some time online, this would be a good place to spend your time. So you're going to come away feeling good. And I've got some great sponsors here. I'm seeing you're just like filling up your page with your sponsors, and so that's good. But you're always probably looking for new sponsors. How would people get in touch with you if they want to sponsor this?
We are same way as you would contacting us about a story. Our website, email, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know how it works with the radio, but we have kind of different packages too for lots of different price points.
Okay.
As far as advertising, and that's how we run. That's how we're going to continue to promote positive news. So yes, we're always looking for new partners. And we love to highlight them in really fun ways too.
I love it.
Like our photo shoot we're doing on Friday. We're going to be highlighting a lot of partners that day.
And just going around and seeing all your folks that sponsor.
We're just going to go around with a camera and have fun.
I think that's a great idea. So if you want to, be a part of what they're doing, just reach out. There's a lot of wonderful things happening. And again, my favorite, I love Miss Mabel. I don't really get into that, but I do love seeing these stories just about the unsung heroes in our community. That's one of the most fun things. Let me pause and do it. Speaking of sponsors, let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards here for a moment. Really unsung heroes in a way that they do so many things that people don't realize that they do. They help in the community so very much, and I've bragged on them a lot lately because I know that Barry, he produces the video for the Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center, and I remember them just kind of connecting for the first time. Sean was just looking for somebody to put it together. Barry was a marketer, and just right place, right time, and they were able to connect, and there you go. And I think this is probably the fourth or fifth one he's done for them to showcase what they do, but that marketing background, he can present a story so beautifully, and he can present the story of the property that you're selling. If you got property that's special and you don't want to just put it out there, let Barry come and tell the story of what you've got to offer and see how much better it's going to be received in a real competitive real estate market. I ask Barry and Rebecca sometimes when the interest rates will go up and down, I'm like, well, is it a good time to buy? Is it a bad time to buy? And their response is always, it's always a good time to buy because they're not making any more real estate. And if you've got a piece of property you've got your eye on and it becomes available, you better act because it may never become available for the rest of your life, because that's what happens. I've had so many people mention that to me with the property that we're on that they didn't even know it was for sale. And others that I think would have been, maybe giving us a run for our money for that property. That was like, man, I'm so sad. I really was interested in that piece of property and I didn't know about it because of where it's situated. And so you have to pay attention. And when something comes up that you're interested in You need to act immediately, and you want to have a good team like Barry and Rebecca on your side to say, okay, you can't afford this, you can't. Here's how the financing would work, because that's one of the first things when you're coming to the table as a buyer. How much home, how much property can you buy? What can you qualify for is the answer, and that's something you have to do on the front end before you start going and looking and making sure everything's going to work. And if you're selling, you can't beat having a marketer on your team, like I said, to tell the story of what you have to bring. So buying or selling, whatever side of the table you're on, or if you want to be mentored into the real estate community, they're actually having an Exit Prime Realty Agent Mixer on February 13th. It's going to be up in White House at 610B Highway 76 in White House. You can reach out to Rebecca at 615-504-7425 if you want to get more info. 615-504-7425. But you will love my friends, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. And when you talk with them, please always let talk about next, Miss Rachel. We've got Lee Marie coming in here with the Ghost Show today. It's Wednesday, so you will get another full hour of local programming right after this one. So I hope you'll stick around from 8 to 9 and see what Lee Marie has to say. What do you want to talk about next, young lady?
I want to talk about a couple individuals in our community who have started a really great program. Have you heard of the Waymaker Place?
I have not. I was looking through the stories. You've got a story. Tell me about that one.
So Chris and Sue Banning, they own White House Chiropractic, which has been a staple in the White House community for a long time. One of their children it has some disabilities and, has just struggled. And they're
Right.
really open about their struggle with him and with, just parenting in general. And they identified this need, which is, when your child hits 18, 19, 20, and they're, most normal children would go off to school, get their own place, be self-sufficient.
Mhm.
And it's really hard on parents with children with disabilities. Okay, this child is now an adult, but they need to stay with us still, or they
Mhm.
need help all the time still. So they created Waymaker Place, which is in Springfield, and it is a small, I don't know. I want to say resort, but that's not the right word. It's a house that can serve 6 men with disabilities. And it's a Christian environment.
Mm-hmm.
They have a full-time person there who just does everything with them, from getting up and brushing your teeth and
Mhm.
having breakfast to, sermons and Bible studies to fun activities around the house and ways to be productive.
So is this something where they go and stay for a time, or does this become their residence?
This becomes their residence.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
and this is something people don't realize unless you have somebody that you're close to that's got a disabled child. You don't think about it because some families that that child will stay with the family, and then when the parents pass, they'll go to a sibling. So a lot of parents, they're going, I don't think that's an option for us.
Yeah.
So we need to transition our child into a place that's not ours, because we're not going to be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really hard thing to face. And I can't imagine the turmoil.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what they go through. And so I'm so thankful for those who know that when we're gone, we're gone. And they may even have siblings that just are not, they're just not a good fit for the situation. I know several like that. And to have these kind of options are so critical. And that is so cool. I did not know about this one.
Yeah.
And it's here in Springfield. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
It is 3.5 pristine country acres. It was purchased by the Bannings in January of 2024. And so they have 2 residents right now. They can have up to 6.
Okay.
So they're looking to find people who it's like a perfect match,
Uh-huh.
who would work out for them to go there. So they have a vision, which I'm going to read this because
That is
it's
so
way
cool.
easier
Yeah.
than explaining. The Waymaker Place vision is 7-fold. 1, to provide support, structure, care, and fellowship to individuals who often feel isolated. 2, to provide hope and to help each individual reach their highest level of independence and inspire them to reach attainable goals. To provide assurance to families that the ones entrusted to our care are thriving while living in the Waymaker Place. to learn about each person's unique gifts as they grow and prepare for them for opportunities which match their gifts and skill level. To develop a relationship with local employers, volunteer organizations, and surrounding community to help our residents participate in the workforce, activities, and lives of those around them. To discover and develop relationships with key partners, donors, and friends that ensure Waymaker Place will be a welcoming facility that can provide grace, care, stability, and safety for the individual and their family for many years to come. And most important of all, to provide a place of hope in Jesus Christ. To help their cause, the Bannings hired Ken Creason as the home manager for Waymaker Place in September. So
That's very cool.
they're set up. They're ready to go.
That's wonderful. And again, if you've not been close with a family that's had to face that, and I've seen it both ways. I know of a family that once the parents passed away, they have a special needs sibling, and the sibling goes between the other siblings, and it'll be like a month here and a month there, and if that works, but that sometimes if you've got, depending on the disability of the person, they can't handle that.
Yeah.
That's too much. That's too much. And sometimes the other siblings can't handle it. Maybe they travel for work. Maybe they just can't make it work. And if you're, a person that's, dealing with that, and your child's maybe 20 years old, and you're like, okay, I'm getting older. Anything could happen. We need to start trying to make this understanding in this. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
but
do
there's
too.
that's the thing. People look at things and they're like, well, it should be, there's everybody, there's so many unique situations and unique needs out there. We need all these wonderful things. I think that's
do.
wonderful.
The Bannings are wonderful people. They're the
Yeah.
ones who
How cool.
came up with the idea and who have funded this project from the beginning. They actually won an award at our Legacy Gala back in the fall. So
Okay.
they're fantastic.
And what is the title of that story? Because I'd love to see that. Because y'all,
Sorry, the place is called Waymaker Place, and the
Okay.
title is Local Nonprofit Makes a Way for Those Often
Okay.
Unseen.
I think I saw that a while ago, but I didn't spend any time there because I was looking at there it is right there. What a beautiful couple. That's amazing. Oh, and what a beautiful facility. Waymaker Place. My
I know,
goodness,
that's
that
why I
is
kept
beautiful.
thinking like resort in my head because it's really
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, and they got this prayer room look at this.
Yeah.
Man, this is a really cool place. God bless them. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I mean, that looks like just a perfect thing. I love that. That is very, very cool. We'll go check. I mean, that's the thing. You start looking at, she's mentioning stories. I'm like, okay, I didn't see that one. And I'm going back and forth and trying to find the ones that she's mentioned. I'm like, oh, I want to read that one. There's just so many cool things. I am going to kind of circle back, the ones that you're sharing. I do want to mention this one that's a new year, new you, financial wins of 2025. I love stuff like that because that's the kind of thing when you're right here at we're still, I mean, when do we get past at what point do we stop saying, okay, it's the first of the year? I guess after the first quarter or after you get through February, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm still feeling like it's New Year.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I'm
Do
not.
you not? Okay.
I think once January ended, I was so ready to be done with that month.
Okay.
And I'm in it now.
I still feel like I'm just getting used to 2025. Though, as I said, it feels like these last couple of months it's been a year. There's been so much that's between the holidays and transitioning into a new year and all the things. It kind of feels like a year has passed already. So. But so you're just like, oh, I'm done.
was happy.
You just got your nose pointed down, going right straight into spring.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm ready for
That
spring
fake
too.
spring weather we got last week too. It was such a tease.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But that's one that jumped out at me, and that's what you're going to find when you get on staypositive.news. You're going to find things that's like, I need to look at that. And mainly because my husband and I are kind of in that place where we're like, we really need to start structuring our finances better.
Yeah.
And be more, we've never been ones to live really, this is our budget.
Yeah.
And,
We haven't either.
Yeah. And we do kind of, because I drive that. I'm like, no, we're done. We've spent too much this month and I will shut it down. Because I'm the one who pays the bills and stuff. And so I mentally know where we are. He never does.
Yeah.
He never does. Who pays the bills in your family?
Me.
Okay,
It's
so
the same.
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, no, and it's like, well, I didn't do this, and I'm like, but you don't realize, and it's to me too, because a lot of the times I don't really realize I'm sitting down going, ooh, yeah, I did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do that.
I know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It is. And when we just moved, we don't know like how much our bills at our new house are going to cost.
Yeah.
So we're just in limbo right now. I'm like, I don't know what our budget, we're not like super strict either, but we do kind of have like goals.
Yes,
So we're just kind of aware. Like right now we're just like, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see
Just
what happens. We
pray
still got
all
money in the
out.
bank. We're good. We still got money in the bank. That's the thing. And so I want to do better. That's one of my big goals this year. And so because that's one of my big goals this year is to get more financially just not stable. But we're fine. But it's just I want to be. I had. It's one of those things when I tell this story a lot. I love it when you just feel the presence of God and you just feel God just really telling you something, And this has been several years ago where my husband and I were re-examining how we give and how much we give. And we had decided we needed to be, doing more tithing. We had decided, okay, we need to be tithing more. We need to, I don't think we're doing enough, It's first fruits. I mean, it's all God's anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were re-examining what we tithe. And so it's hard sometimes. You go, ooh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But it's not ours. So as we were kind of restructuring that and we made the commitment, we're doing this and we set up the, the reoccurring things and doing all that. I mean, that week, his transmission went out.
Ooh.
Our air conditioner went out.
Ooh.
And my car broke down, but it wasn't two major mechanical breakdowns on vehicles, and the air conditioner went out.
Yikes.
And I remember just going, oh my goodness. I thought, those books that say give and it'll, you'll get, I don't buy into all that stuff. That's not what we do. We do it because it's all God. So I'm not one of those people who likes those kinds of ministry. It's not, I don't know, prosperity stuff. Quit it. It's like, well, in Malachi, and it's like, stop it. But anyway, that's what I've been called to do, and so, but it just felt like, okay, I really feel an attack from the enemy on this one. And I was just kind of stressing over it. And I'm one of these people, I've always worried about money.
Yeah.
Always worried about money. And I don't know anybody else in the room would have heard it, but I heard so clearly, when are you going to start trusting me instead of your bank account?
Yes.
Boom. I mean, in that moment, and I was like, okay, Lord.
Yep.
And so we went to our credit union. We borrowed the money we needed to fix all the things. And we have paid that off now. And we're still doing the things that we had set up to do.
That's great.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like we're not supposed to let our finances define us.
Exactly.
And too many of us, we do. And it's all about, oh, I'm at peace if I have this, I'm at peace. And so I have kind of found a financial peace over the last several years, ever since that experience. But now I want to be a better steward. Does that make sense?
Me
So
too.
now I'm trying to go, okay, but am I the steward that's been given the 10 talents and going to make it 10 more? Or am I the one that's going to put it, I'm going to put it over here and keep it safe? You know what I mean? Or am I really going to take the resources God's given me and see what he will do with it?
Yeah.
And so, but finance is a part of that.
It is.
I've worked in ministry. You got to have the dollar. We're getting ready to go to Mexico, and it's going to cost, because our mission trip's going to cost more this year because not as many of us are going, and it's all those things. So it costs money to do ministry and to do the things that God called us to do, but we've got to be good stewards of it. So that's why that jumped out at me. I'm like,
yes,
I need to read this because that's something that's a goal for us this year. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys putting that story up, because as I'm sitting here kind of going over it, I'm going, oh, this is good. This is really good. So thank you.
Yeah, we love to
Thank
do
you for
stories
that.
like
Yeah.
that. And it is so important. I'll tell a funny story about Eric Berner, who is one of our partners. He's a financial advisor. He's also my personal financial
There you go.
advisor.
Yeah.
And I have been a client of his for just over a year. We went and we had our 1-year meeting. And we're looking at all the numbers, and he's just asking me all the questions. Okay, what's your mortgage? What's your car payment? And I'm just sitting there feeling so convicted because we had, back in 2022, we had built a big, beautiful home. It was completely custom. But as we were building, that's when the interest rates were starting to hike up.
Mm.
And we went from having what we thought was going to be a 3.5% interest rate to, when we finally finished the house and closed on the mortgage, it was 6%.
Yeah.
So our mortgage pretty much doubled, and we just didn't anticipate having to pay that much interest. So after my meeting with Eric, I felt very convicted, and I went to my husband. I said, I know we've only been in our house for 2 years, but I think we have to sell it.
Wow.
And he was like, I think you're right. As hard as it's going to be because of all the work we put into it, and we just loved it. And we lived in an apartment for 9 months while we built it, and that was crazy with 2 young kids.
Yeah.
And
God bless y'all for that conviction at such a young age. Man, that's awesome. But finish. That just blew my
and
mind.
I know it was from the Lord, and
Yeah,
I have a lot
absolutely.
of other stories that I could spend a lot of time talking about
How
this.
obedient of y'all. Wow.
Yes, it took a lot of prayer, and the process was not easy to get it sold in this kind of market, and that took a lot of prayer and trust in God too. And then buying a house in this market took a lot of prayer and trust in God too. But it really sparked from that meeting with Eric and wanting to be financially a better steward of our money and be more responsible and plan for the future. And so that knowledge part is so important, and that's why I Stay Positive News post stories like that, because you never know what that story could inspire within your life.
I love it.
And it's drawn us closer to God throughout the
Amen.
process. So
What outstanding. God bless y'all. That is wonderful. That is just, man, because you're the age of my kids, and to be able to be that smart to make that kind of a decision at this age, that's brilliant, and you're going to do awesome.
it's also very humbling. It was a very humbling experience because everybody's like, oh, you're selling your big, beautiful house? You just built it. You just have only lived here 2 years. And I'm like, yeah, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
And that has been very humbling. But I'm past that now because the Lord has provided so much for us.
That is wonderful. Man, that's inspiring. If that doesn't just kind of fire you up right there, that's why I am 62 years old. Like I said, you're the same age as my kids because y'all went to church together and all that, and so they know you're a peer of theirs. And so many times people say, this generation, the next generation, the kids that I'm teaching, we are just fine, y'all, because of things like that. Because they get it. And yes, there's a lot of them out there that are addicted to their games and they're doing all that. But you know what? We had the same kind of nonsense. I came from the hippie era. Come on. You know, the Woodstock and all that kind of mess was going on when I was a kid. So don't tell me every generation doesn't have the ones that concern us, but in that generation as well, we have the ones that inspire us, and that inspires me. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh my goodness.
That's
I'm
cool.
trying not to tear up here on the
But
radio.
that really is. We need to hear those things, and that's the thing. I've got students in my classroom. Man, I could tell you stories about some of the things that they're doing and the way their minds work, and I'm just going, you go. I can't wait to see what you're going to do.
I love that.
It's just so inspiring. So I just get so terrible, like, it's such a terrible time. The Lord's coming soon. It's like, maybe he is. I don't know, but we don't know. We do not know. We do not know the day or the hour. And I know there's a dog in the building. I can't ignore the dog in the building. Oh, my goodness.
Encourage people to adopt for Valentine's Day.
Adopt for Valentine's Day. This is what you were talking about. Lee Marie was telling me, look at that sweet baby. I can't stand it. They're just so sweet. I love animals so much. They're just, she is beautiful. She is beautiful. Oh my goodness, you're such a pretty girl. But that's what Lee Marie was telling me. She says, make sure everybody knows they might find their Valentine if they join my show on Wednesday. Right. This is what you're talking about, is finding your Valentine with 4 legs. Oh my goodness.
And Randy Peachy's the new director.
I know Randy. I know Randy. He had to visit me one time over one of my dogs that did something he wasn't supposed to do. Remember that, Randy? Everything's good. But sometimes our dogs, get out of the yard and all that. But thank you, brother. It's good to see you. God bless you. I know Randy, but anyway, that's cool. I mean, she brought that dog, and I'm like, okay, the dog's gonna have to come in. Gonna have to come
I
in.
saw the door open. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, they got a puppy out there. We used to have a feature where they would come in once a week, or maybe every other week, with a pet of the week, and
Fun.
it was fun when we were over in the other studio, and Shade brought them in, and so we just haven't had anybody that really could facilitate that. But that's one of those fun things that you just love. You were talking about River, the dog, and so there you go.
Yeah.
So, but we're just about out of time. We got about 4 or 5 minutes here. Anything else that you want to cover? We were about to get all emotional, so we needed that. We needed that little emotional break, because that was a good moment, though. But anything else that you want to cover that you've got going on the site right now that you're like, oh, I forgot to mention that, so think about that. But I'll just remind people at staypositive.news if you want to. I mean, again, I get on the site and I started looking and found this story that I'm like, that's exactly what I've been looking for. I need that, because that's kind of going to be kind of my launch. My husband and I just talked about this today. Okay, we're at that point now. We've got to sit down. We got to talk budget. We got to start talking about this and being better stewards. And that's a perfect story to help me do it. So if you're looking for some inspiration on something, get on the page and go to Miss Mabel and those monthly challenges of the things that you can do. I love that. I love
Absolutely.
that. So what did you find there that you want to make sure you cover?
Just 11-year-old Kate Hancock, a Robertson County resident. She had set a goal to raise $25,000 for Haiti this year.
Oh, wow. Mhm.
And it was basically she wanted to raise enough money to send 100 children to school for the entire year
Wow.
at Emmanuel, Haiti, which is what their church, a program their church supports. So Kate's parents were like, "Wow, whew, that's
a lofty
that's a
go
big
there, young
goal."
lady.
And Kate wasn't worried about it. Well, she was selling apple cider to raise the money. And, as time was kind of ending, she wasn't at her goal yet. And then one day she got an anonymous donation that covered more than
Good
what she
enough.
was raising.
Wow.
And it was really, really sweet. She ended up buying, not only sponsoring 100 children to go to school for the year, but she bought beds for all of them.
Oh my goodness.
New beds, new
wonderful.
mattresses. So she's 11 years old, y'all, and she has she does this every year, and each year she keeps increasing her goal of what she's raised. She's probably raised more money than like the two of us combined have.
Put these
in our
kids
room.
through school.
Yes,
That's amazing.
it is.
That's cool. I'm gonna go. I saw the side. I saw something about cider, and I didn't stop on it, but now I'm going to. What is this one that I'm kind of going? What's Love Encore? What is that?
So that was an event that took place in.
That was a past event. Okay.
Yeah, but it was
Okay.
there's a young lady in our community who has cancer.
Oh bless.
And
So
we
we need
actually
to-
did a story on Cora when we first came out, because she had, maybe it was her 4th or 5th birthday party. She hosted an animal adoption event for her birthday
Oh
party.
wow.
At that age, she's like, all I want for my birthday is people to adopt pets from the shelter. And her mom's like, okay. So sweet Cora has that really kind heart of gold, and the community wanted to rally around her and her family because they are struggling so much. And Cora's been in and out of the hospital for a long time now.
Bless her heart, and what a perfect, kind of segue from the little pet being in here, the dog being in
Yeah.
here, and this sweet little baby. And now I'm telling you, pull up this little angel's picture. Woo, put her on your prayer list. I've got a
Yes.
list of kids that,
Yeah.
I've got a list of cancer kids that I pray for. So I've got to put Cora on that list and be
do.
praying for her.
Yes.
These little ones that have to fight that big disease. Just
hard
that's
on
one of
the whole
those hard
family.
things just to even understand. But I don't know, for some reason that just kept popping out at me. So even though that's an event that passed, we're going to keep loving on Cora. Put her on your prayer list, and you get that little sweet girl's picture in your heart. And my goodness, keep us posted on how she's doing for sure. So pray for Cora. That's a really good place to finish. Thank you for sharing. My goodness, we had just a great show today. I appreciate it so much, and you sharing your heart so
Thanks
purely.
for having me.
And good luck with that house, that perfect house. I had somebody tell me one time, because when we bought our, and I know I'm out of time, but just real quickly, I had one of my sweet friends, Myra. She told me we had built our house, and the intent our land, we were going to have it was where our business was for 20 years, and we thought, well, we'll make our house the offices, and we're going to build our dream home. But then we never financially got where we could do our dream home. We couldn't afford it. And one day she says, you may one day figure out this is your dream home. And my goodness, from that moment on,
Ooh.
it was. And I thought it just completely took that away from me that I needed to do something more. I was living in something more.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, she goes, you may realize this is your dream home. And I'm like, oh, that's good stuff, girl.
That's good.
Anyway, love you, friend. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Remember to stick around for another full hour of local programming with the dog mama. This woman I don't know anybody that loves animals any more than she does. But Lee Marie's going to be here and talk to you about how you can find your Valentine at the animal shelter. I love that. And Lee Marie, you are filling in for me Thursday and Friday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
She's going to be here covering for me. And my plan is to be back on Monday if all goes well. And so I'll see you then. Thank you for joining us. But stick around. Lee Marie's coming up next with The Go Show here on 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.